This is episode number 463 of the Health and Fitness Podcast by InnerFight, brought to you by our good friend Smith Street Paleo. If you're not on a meal plan, hop on one. Food delivered to your home or office 5 days a week. Doesn't matter if you need breakfast or lunch or dinner or all three. And a snack as well. We've got all the options. So make sure you hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com or drop them an email, hello@smithstreetpaleo.com, and they will take care of all of your needs. This is another format of a Sunday show. Thanks a lot for tuning in, folks. This week, I've got Tom back. Tom's getting way too much time on the show. On last week as well with Dre. Folks, if you haven't checked that out, episode number 460, they get quite geeky on concurrent training, CONCURRENT, just in case you didn't know what that word is. Concurrent training. Go and check that one out. But mate, we're here today to talk about the InnerFight Endurance Running Academy.
Yes.
This is it. Folks, I want to just give you some background on it. It's something obviously that we're seeing a lot of growth in. A lot of people want to run better and want to run more. And at the moment, I think we've got almost 10 people that we're actually training for ultramarathons. Speaking to another bloke yesterday who wants to sign up for Marathon des Sables. And that will take our tally in that race next year to 3. So everyone is getting involved in it. And Tom, before we sort of kick into an introduction to the Running Academy, what are some of the issues that you've seen over the last sort of 18 months with people going from just any sort of fitness, even if it's couch fitness, into running? What happens?
I think probably the biggest thing you see is overuse, injuries.
Yeah,
I would say normally around like the lower leg, hips and knees, which are so easy to prevent. Just takes a good bit of structured strength training, basically within your running week, or you can base it around a month if you like. But you've got to get those key sessions in and look after your body. It's not just a case of run and then get home and sit on the sofa and refuel all day, unfortunately.
So that's one of the biggest problems, isn't it, mate? People will jump into running and then their body's not used to it and They immediately get injured. So that's one of our biggest motivations for setting up the InnerFight Running Academy, and our simple objective is to make you better at running. And I'm going to read from obviously we have a corporate presentation for this, and it says, our approach to running is simple yet scientific, geeky yet understandable. We'll coach you to your running goal by looking at all factors of performance, because we care about data, but not only that, we care about how you feel. And one of the biggest things is your enjoyment of running. And we see a lot what Tom was just saying there, like people jump into running and they think it is quite straightforward. It's what we're designed to do as humans. And interesting geeky fact is that humans can outrun any other animal for distance. We're not quite as quick as some of them, although some people, Kipchoge is quite quick.
He knows a thing or two about
he
speed.
knows, but actually humans are designed to run and can run very long distances, but we want people to enjoy it. So that's one of the biggest things. Mate, give us a little bit of background on the Running Academy. If people want to get involved in it, how does it work?
So the academy is, as you said, it's based for people to get better at running. I think we obviously have a lot of runners on our program, but I think some people think maybe we don't actually coach running because we're seen as endurance and triathlon. So what this academy is going to do is it's going to connect you with one of us, one of the endurance coaches, but it's going to be purely based around a run program. So you're not going to come in and be asking the questions like, do you coach running? What does it look like? We have a program in place. You literally log on and we take you through the whole steps that you need to be purely on to become a runner. So you know exactly what you're getting from the off, and what you do get is an extremely detailed plan, completely bespoke to you as the runner. With all encompassing, as we say, so strength work, nutrition work, helping you to get recovered, which all need to be in place for you to be able to do the running and essentially enjoy your running, which is what a lot of this is built upon, right?
So if that sounds like your cup of tea and you want to get involved, there is a little bit of a process to go through at the start. You drop an email to endurance@innerfight.com and we actually fire back to you an intake questionnaire, which is probably one of the most detailed enrollment questionnaires that I've ever put together. We ask you questions about your lifestyle habits, and I think that's one of the biggest things. We want people to understand that what they're taking on, how it's actually going to fit into their life.
Yeah.
Because you say to someone you're going to run 3 times a week, they're like, yeah, I've got loads of time for it. And on the second week that they've got the program, they're like, oh, I've got to pick the kids up from school, I've got to go to work, I've got to do this, got to do that. So the intake questionnaire is super, super detailed, and we want to know everything, right?
Yeah. The more we can know, the better. Like this running is going to be part of your lifestyle if you want to be good at it. And a marathon is, people chuck it out there that, oh yeah, I'm going to run a marathon, but actually it's a really big goal.
Yeah.
And it takes a huge commitment.
Yeah.
So the more we know, the better we can plan your week. And essentially we want there to be no excuses.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. When the excuses are removed, your chance of success do increase, folks. And when you've gone through that questionnaire, the next step is that you'll be connected with a coach. And I want to speak a little bit, and Tom and I are going to explain how we actually coach it. And we actually use various platforms of software platforms to manage performance. We collect data, and through that we deliver one of the most advanced and personal online coaching systems that are available today. It's not just getting something off runnersworld.com. We take into consideration, and we're going to speak about all the different software that we use to feed into one system. And then I think what's also super important is that there is a massive human element in it as well. Your endurance coach is looking at your data, is analyzing it, is looking at all these various factors of performance that we're going to go through now to ensure that A, you're making progress, but B, as we just said before, you're actually enjoying it and having fun running. So, Tom, talk us through some of the platforms that we use and the technology that we leverage and how it all works.
Yeah, so the first thing we'll talk about now is how you're going to record your running and your data. And the most common thing people use to record is a watch, a GPS device, and I think we're safe to say the most common one is Garmin, certainly out here, right?
Yeah. I don't I guess when I sort of started when I was 13, Polar was the one, but Garmin have really.
Was that around then?
Yeah. Well, you were not born then, mate. No. Yeah, you actually. Yeah. No, you might. Yeah, you were just. So yeah, I'm 12 years older than you. Yeah, so you were just born. So
nice.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Good days.
Good days. Yeah, but I think, mate, now you've said Garmin, and Garmin went from a GPS device that was actually quite bulky into these. I mean, their first real slick watch was the Phoenix 3, and now over the last few years, it's just exploded.
Yeah, and I got a Phoenix 3 when they came out, and 4 years on, it's still going strong, and I wouldn't want a different watch.
No.
At all.
It's tempting to buy the new ones that you can snap the colour of the band in and off, but who cares about that?
So yeah, we deviated a little bit there, but essentially a GPS device that's going to record your speed, distance, and then heart rate. And we're not going to base everyone's training on heart rate because a lot of things affect it, but a lot of training is based around heart rate and getting in correct time in the correct heart rate zones, which we've talked about before. But the key to this, to setting up your GPS device, is it's got to be able to load into sort of the training mother hub, which is Training Peaks. We work all day, every day on Training Peaks. We know it pretty well. We have an excellent library of workouts. We have an extreme amount of data on there.
Yeah.
And we hope people will get as comfortable with Training Peaks as we are using it. It's an app on your phone, and you can basically run your life through Training Peaks.
Yeah,
you can sync it with your iCalendar or on Android.
Yeah.
And that's where all the training is going to be prescribed and fed back on.
And I think that's one thing that people like from this system, obviously feeding, we've spoken about the data from your heart rate monitor. It doesn't matter if you use Garmin, Polar, Sunto, they all actually feed into Training Peaks, but Training Peaks is a simple app on your phone. And the beauty of having Training Peaks on your phone, you can pick up your phone anytime, you can see what us as the coach has programmed for you, and then as soon as you've done the workout, 90% of the wearables, the wrist devices for heart rate monitors actually sync directly to your phone. Literally within 30 seconds of you finishing a workout, your coach can see on his app, on our version of Training Peaks, exactly what you've done. And this is the freaky bit. If you're a little bit worried about your information and data and where you are, we can see where you started, the GPS point where you started. We can see the route that you took. We can actually even see if you stopped for a pee or you just stopped because you're tired. So we can see everything that's happened in that workout, which gives us every chance of improving your performance.
Yeah.
To sort of take it up. So you can say to us, like, halfway through I wasn't feeling too good, and we can pretty much know exactly why you weren't feeling good. So
yeah, it's a huge tool, and I even had a client yesterday tell me they ran a half marathon, and they said, and before they even said it, I said, you didn't go all in. And I could see from their data, because there's a heart rate pace percentage, and he said, I was about to say I didn't go all in, I couldn't do it, and I said, yeah, I can see.
You can see.
So it's such an accurate tool for us to use, and that's why it's the only thing we use.
Absolutely. And at the start of your run program, we will do some testings. We're not going to jump too much into detail of that, but we'll give you some testing so that we can identify different zones. And from working with people over a period of time, which normally people would come into our running academy for a 12-week period, because that would be a dial-in to, if you are a conditioned athlete or you have exposure and experience to marathon running, we can get you there in 12 weeks, otherwise a 10K or something like that, and we can build up that data. That's talking about the data of your performance and of doing stuff. We also use a really important tool to actually monitor your recovery and seeing exactly how your heart is and your central nervous system is recovering. And if you do listen to the show, you would have heard this show that we did with the founder of this app, Marco Altini, on Thursday last week, podcast number 462. If you haven't listened to that and you really want to get geeky, if you don't want to get geeky and just absolute stat blog, like, this guy is one of the most geeky people we've ever had on the show, don't listen to it. But HRV for training, Tom, tell us a little brief overview about it and why we use it.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to get geeky and listen to the show, which I recommend you should, I also wrote an article on it the week before that, which you
which was also on the podcast. So if you want that article, 459 is that, and if you are a loyal listener, you would have heard Tom's article on HRV.
Yeah, so that's sort of a nice layout of it. But to give an even more basic layout of it, heart rate variability, which is HRV, it measures the time between your heartbeats, which actually we don't want to be a consistent time. We want there to be a variability. And what that tells us is how recovered you are, because it tells you which part of the autonomic nervous system is being dominant at that time. And we do it in the morning once you've woken up, because a lot of things affect it. And it basically gives us a snapshot of how recovered you are. So that's why we use it.
So what's super cool from that, and I'll give a few examples of what I've experienced with clients in the last few weeks, a lot due to, and people will laugh at this, but there's been a lot of weather change here, and also when we're still in cold environments, then outside and it's dusty and humidity as well. I've had clients message me and said, I'm not feeling too good. What we'll do is we'll then analyze their last week, or I'll go back to their last week's heart rate variability stats, and we can see exactly where they're at, and we almost save them from that crash that you guys might know what I'm talking about, where you said, yeah, I knew I was getting sick. We'll get to a point where we'll see what's happening with it, with an athlete, and we can tell them, yeah, the next 3 days is off. So a super important tool. And again, the heart rate variability for training app feeds into our mother of all platforms, Training Peaks, and it's a simple test that you do first thing in the morning. You do not necessarily need a heart rate strap for it. It does actually work, but it's a bit awkward through your finger on your iPhone or Android. It works equally well on both. And there is also, if you did listen to that podcast with Marco, he says that it's very, very accurate through the finger, but I don't think it is.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion, because it's just a little bit awkward. But listen to that
It's as
show.
accurate as you are keeping the same pressure on the whole time.
Exactly.
With your finger. So the other thing we're going to be using is MyFitnessPal, which also links into Training Peaks, and you can also share the diary with one of us if you add us as a friend, and then share your diary. And what this is going to do is track all the nutrition that you are taking on, and helps us to say not so much about straight away what you should and shouldn't be eating, but purely like, normally people are eating enough. But actually, some people won't be eating enough to fuel a performance program that the Run Academy is. So we get through Training Peaks a broad outline of the macronutrients that you consume during a day and your total calories. And then once the diary is shared with us, we actually get a more accurate detail of the actual food you're eating. But to begin with, for the first sort of 2 weeks, I tell people, don't worry so much about what you are eating. Let me just gather some data about the total amount that you are, and then we can start making changes from there. But that, again, it's a really, really good tool to have. It's an app on your phone. You can just scan barcodes of, hopefully you're not eating too much food that comes in a packet with a barcode, but you can just scan the barcodes. All the Smith Street meals are up on there, actually.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So it's a very good tool, and it's another key part to this running program, is because diet is what fuels you. So
absolutely. So there you have it. Your heart rate data from your performance side when you go out for a run goes into the platform. We check you first thing in the morning to see how you're recovering, and we also monitor your food so that we can see exactly what's going on. So before you start off with a coach, we'll send you that stuff. You'll set all of that up, and you're basically good to go. We then have a check-in and feedback process where basically on a daily basis, as you go through your workouts, your coach will leave comments. You can leave comments in Training Peaks. It's so user-friendly. And we also have a weekly check-in on Training Peaks with your coach where we have 5 very simple, straightforward questions that you score between 1 and 5. How did it go this week? 1 to 5. 5 being excellent. Yeah, everything was great. And then you'll meet your coach for local-based athletes. You'll meet your coach here at InnerFight. And for those who are international, we catch up on a monthly Skype call. So, mate, talking a little bit about the training. So we understand how the whole setup is. We understand how the check-in and support process works. Just talk to us a little bit about the training that people can expect when they enroll in a Run Academy on a 12-week plan to either a 10K or a marathon.
Yeah, so obviously there's going to be run training. That will be between 3 to 4, possibly some weeks 5 sessions. There'll be a mix of different zones, so you'll have your obviously base aerobic zones because that's what you'll be running the marathon in. Some tempo work just to stress the body a little bit more. Some sort of track type workouts. If you're not doing them on the track, you can still do them. And then for local clients based in Dubai, obviously we'll have their sessions with us with the endurance team. So that's Track Tuesdays, S&C on a Monday morning, and then we'll have a bigger group run on Saturdays. But you won't just get a 12-week predetermined plan. It's going to all be based around your feedback from each session, and then your feedback from each week, and then each month. So it's never going to be, you won't log in and just see exactly what you're doing for 12 weeks because it can't work like that.
I think that's one of the most important things for folks to understand, and it does obviously come as a price tag to have a coach overlooking your training, but like I was saying before, if you're not feeling good, you've got a coach to figure out why you're not feeling good.
Exactly.
If you're slowing down, or if your heart rate's going too high, or if you're not losing weight and therefore not able to run well because of that weight issue, you've got a coach to monitor it.
And that's one of the things we wanted to develop was, okay, anyone can write out a run program and sell it for however much for runners to use over 12 weeks. But how many of those runners who've bought it actually finish the run program and get to their goal?
Yeah.
So it's like, what can we do that's okay, it's the same, it's still a run program, but it's going to be so much more successful, and we're going to have 12 people absolutely smash their goals in 12 weeks' time because they've bought into a plan that is actually doable. They've not just gone and bought a piece of paper or, a predetermined plan that they get a week into and think, oh, I'm tired or whatever, and they don't finish it, and it's really demoralizing.
That's one of the biggest things, that whole accountability and support. So there you have it, folks. There's an introduction to the InnerFight Endurance Running Academy. You will see over the next, for the dial-in to the Dubai Marathon, we're actually running a special project in association with On Running, where, as Tom just said there, we're taking 12 people to the Dubai Marathon. Their selection process is underway. They will be announced very soon. But if you do have a running goal, and that sort of process, that sort of accountability, that state-of-the-art, if you like, technology to help you perform optimally is what's available through our running academy. We'd be really happy to have a conversation. Drop us an email, endurance@innerfight.com. and we'll get back to you with our mammoth questionnaire so we can fully understand it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's given you an insight into how our running academy is slightly different to what's out there online and in the marketplace. And if we can be any help, just give us a shout. Thanks a lot for listening.